I wanted to make a video on the relationship between trauma, dance, and other forms of exercise. Now, I've talked about complex post-traumatic stress disorder in detail in my video on ketamine-assisted psychotherapy, which I will link in the description. So I recommend you go watch that if you haven't seen that already. But essentially, if you were never raised in a calm environment, if you've never had the peace and safety and security that a child needs growing up, then your mind and body and nervous system are convinced that the world is a chaotic, dangerous, unpredictable place where no one can be trusted. And while you can do a lot of healing from that in terms of your mind, and I have done, I now meditate for an hour every day. My mind is the most peaceful and calm it has ever been. But my nervous system is still very much wired for fight or flight. It's still wired to believe that it needs to be ready for a fight. It's like owning a dog that used to be abused, and even though it's in a calm place, sometimes it wakes up panicking, and you just need to say, it's okay, calm down. I'm here. And so this means I don't sleep super well. I still suffer from early morning wakefulness, particularly when I'm sleeping alone. For some reason, when I have a girl sleeping next to me, I sleep really, really well. Not entirely sure the reasons for that, and I don't really want to go into investigating that right now, but essentially sleep is a weak point for me because my body is always ready for fight or flight. And also, this means that in the gym, for example, being ready for fight or flight means I can push myself to failure really, really hard, like I've talked about in my videos. I can go to that point where I'm working as hard as if my life was on the line. I go into that life or death place very, very easily. But if I have not slept well, and then I go to the gym and I train hard, and I push myself really hard, then I can also end up with migraines. And I don't even mean headaches, I mean I lose vision. Like my eyes are still letting in light, but my brain is no longer processing it. And it's really quite scary because you essentially lose the ability to see. And it can last like 30 minutes. And then sometimes after, I get a headache. So it's really, really important that I prioritize sleep and recovery. If I push myself to exhaustion for any particular reason, I've got to really, really make sure that I sleep well. All the people who say, "Oh, you sleep when you're dead." No, if I will be dead if I do not sleep. So I've spent a lot of time recently prioritizing getting good sleep, and knowing that I have this weak point, working around it so I get to bed at a reasonable time. I used to be dancing as often as I could, and while there's nothing wrong with dance, there is this bit of a stupid culture in that you might have a party starting at 10 p.m. going till 5 a.m. and then if I go to that and say I go to bed at 5, I would wake up still at 8 o'clock and not sleep very well after that. So I'd be feeling like crap the entire rest of the day and unable to exercise safely, and it wouldn't really be good for me. So I'm now trying to be careful about that. Anyway, dance has been a wonderful form of self-expression. I first started going to it at the end of a toxic relationship where I had given up my entire social life, didn't have any friends, didn't have anyone to talk to, and my sister dragged me along to this dance class. And when I was there, I felt I wasn't really good at it. I didn't really enjoy it, first of all, but I thought, okay, I'm going to give it 6 weeks and see how I go. And after 6 weeks, I was able to do the moves a little better than I could in the beginning. And I felt like, okay, I'm sort of expressing myself, I'll give myself another 6 weeks. And then after another 6 weeks, I was enjoying the company of the people I was with, but I felt like I was a painter who just discovered paintbrushes and paint, and I was able to express myself in ways that I wasn't able to before. And yeah, it became really, as someone who felt like he didn't have a voice, it was a really, really beautiful way of understanding my place in the world, of experiencing connection with other people. So it was really healing for me, because in my relationship I was just made to feel like I was the biggest piece of shit in the world, and now I'm with people who treat me nicely, and I found identity and meaning in that connection with other people. But for someone with complex post-traumatic stress disorder, you are likely to, well, what happens in my body is my mind can be completely calm. I could be happy, but my body is releasing cortisol and adrenaline because it's used to, there should be a fight about now somewhere. And so my body might be tensing up, it might be rushing, like I'd be moving off the beats, I might accidentally use force. And so I need to be really, really careful about this and be really sensitive, and always check in with my body and always actively make sure that I'm relaxing myself, because otherwise it's very easy to unintentionally go from being pretty good to totally shit because I'm too tense and I'm rushing. And I'm saying this after, I've been dancing for like 7 years. I've been teaching for, well, since almost 6 years. And yeah, it can really change the way I dance. About the gym, so like I said, it's good that I've got this ability to push myself really, really hard. And also, doing this was a way of survival. Like, I was able to channel this frustration, this anger, and this... I wasn't allowed to feel angry at home. I wasn't allowed to feel angry at all, really. But being able to physically push my body to do something hard, that was... that probably saved my life. I don't know if I would be here without that outlet. And I also got into lifting as a way of supplementing my martial arts skills. And I think I got into martial arts as a way of expressing anger, the anger I wasn't allowed to feel. And also, maybe unconsciously, being able to be someone who was able to fight my father, who was abusive and bullying the family. And that was a way of empowerment. That was a way, otherwise I would probably have felt totally weak and totally without power or agency in the world. Just my life being dictated by the whims of a bully and an enabler. But again, limitations in this. I would lose control. I would go into adrenaline and go into rage very easily. I remember one time, I don't know why the instructor did this because it wasn't really fair or realistic, but he told me that I was only allowed to grapple and my friend was allowed to grapple and strike. So I was, I took like so many hits to the head, and I was running off pure adrenaline. And when I did finally take him down and put a choke on him, and he was tapping to like say, okay, you've got me. And the instructor called to stop, and I didn't feel it, I didn't hear it. And, guys were pulling me off him because I was just in this pure rage where I couldn't process anything. So yeah, it's a great way of expressing anger and channeling anger, but it comes with its dangers. I guess I don't really know where to go with this video. As you can tell, I've done it quite unscripted. I just wanted to give some voice to the challenges and differences associated with trauma in movement. And I think for me, my redemption arc has been I've gone from reading books on death point striking in my teenage years to using those same points in Thai massage and also in my dance. That's another subject that's a little deep to get into. But that I feel like I've got that redemption arc where what was originally a way of expressing anger is now a way of expressing love and kindness and healing. So I guess to sign off, thank you for listening. If this has been any use to you, please like, comment, helps the algorithm, helps me. And if not, well, there'll be some more generic videos that are more applicable to many people coming up soon. Okay, thanks very much. Take care.